Welcome back to the Purple Pod on a KSU Nation YouTube channel, the best K-State podcast out there. I'm Steve.
I'm Kenny G.
And in today's video, we're going to be previewing K-State's football season here in 2024. Kenny, it's great to be back, man. It really is.
Oh my gosh, dude. I've been waiting for this day since the last football game that we had and last show we did. It's been a long time coming. Lots of changes, lots of things that stayed the same. But all in all, I agree with you, man. I'm super pumped to be back. It's good to be in Manhattan, especially around this time of year. Students are coming back. The weather is changing. Football's in the air. You can smell it. You can feel it. You know it. You know it when you know it. Oh man, it's just a fun time to be doing the podcast again, man. I miss this. I miss having these conversations and just talking about K-State and of course college football, man. Who doesn't love college football?
You know, shout out to Kenny for being the one to be like, "Yo, Steve, we got to do a pod, man. It's been too long. Like the last pod we did was, week 4 of Big 12 basketball season. Then you and I both got crazy busy with our work and family life and some other things that were happening. But I'm excited to be back, man. And shout out to us. We are really quickly something that's not K-State related. You're looking at the 3rd, 4th grade volleyball champion coaches right here. Our first practice is next week. I'm the head coach. Kenny is the assistant, but we're basically co-head coaches. I've not coached volleyball before, but it's going to be a fun time. His kid is on the team. My kid's on the team. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. So
yeah, man, that's going to be a good time. That's a little side note, but that's also something to mention, and really excited about that too. It'll be a good time, man.
Absolutely. Let's get right into this.
Let's do it. No time to wait. We don't need to be wasting any more time. We've waited already a year. Let's get right into it. Meat and potatoes.
Yes, sir. Let's get right into this. So K-State's coming off a 9-4 season, breaking in kind of a new quarterback in Avery Johnson, who started a few games last year, had a pretty big Pop-Tarts Bowl performance. I don't know if K-State fans have been this excited in a long time. Last year was a pretty big year coming off the Big 12 championship season a year before, but it feels like this season is different. Like, I don't know, like K-State's picked to be in a Big 12 championship game by about anyone connected to Big 12 football media. And it feels like that's right where they're supposed to be. Kenny, do you agree with that?
Well, yeah, like it's kind of what I said in the beginning. A lot of things changed, but a lot of things did stay the same. And one of the biggest things that stayed the same was the coaching staff, all the way from, the head coach, and then you got Joe Klanderman coming back. A lot of his guys are coming back. Offense, everybody's really excited about the obvious, quarterback position. Avery Johnson, number 2. Really excited about him. DJ Giddens coming back. Like a lot of people are coming back. And then the offensive coordinator, Matt Wells. Like we're excited to see what he can do. But he's kind of already been with Chris Klieman this whole time. So it's almost going to be like, well, it's going to be cool to see what, like with him with the reins. Like he's got, it's kind of like with Avery, him getting the reins, and we saw what he can do, and now we got Matt Wells. He's got the reins, so I'm excited to see it.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to see what they do with the offense because, I mean, what we saw in the bowl game against NC State is really a shell of what we're going to see from K-State going forward. From all accounts, it looked like K-State was not wanting to run the ball with Avery Johnson because there was no quarterback depth after Will Howard left and 2 or 3 other quarterbacks left. So it was really him and Jacob Knuth that were the only quarterbacks on the roster. Right. So they didn't really want to run him a lot. Obviously, we know how fast he is, how good he is on the ground game. So I'm excited to see what they do. Now, I know that we're breaking in basically a new offensive coordinator. We saw what Connor Riley did in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. But we're really going to get to see what he can come up with this season, and Matt Wells as well with the quarterback position. it's going to look different, man, because Colin Klein has been here basically for like 12 years, and to see him go to Texas A&M was a pretty sad day for me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I remember being very sad and upset when I saw him leave. But, maybe one day he'll come back as a head coach. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what we do on offense going forward. Really quickly, I did want to share screen and show off this Big 12 media poll. As we were talking about it, K-State is picked second in the Big 12 by the media with 19 first place votes, just one less than Utah, 5 more than Oklahoma State. I mean, looking at this preseason poll, I don't have a ton of problems with it. I would probably rank Kansas a couple spots lower, but I could see why they are as high as they are when I looked at their schedule. I mean, I think they play 6 out of the bottom 7 teams picked there. So I could see why they're picked there. I would have Arizona above KU. I'd probably have Iowa State above KU as well, probably even West Virginia. But outside of that, and then obviously I'd have K-State first. But really, I don't have a huge problem with this preseason poll. Do you, Kenny?
No, I mean, it gives us a little bit of an underdog edge. And yeah, I totally misspoke there. Yeah, Connor Riley was the one that was with us the whole time. I don't know why I was thinking that was Matt Wells. I just got my stats or my names mixed up a little bit. But yeah, with this list, I'm not upset about it at all. Yeah, I think Oklahoma State is still going to be a problem. We can't sleep on any teams that we play against. We have a really tough schedule, and I can't wait to get into it.
Absolutely. Really quickly, Puduke says the TCU disrespect is hilarious, and I hope it turns out true. So TCU goes from playing in the national championship game to being picked 10th in its own conference. But shout out really quickly, we haven't had a chance to shout out the new members of the Big 12. Shout out to Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. Thank you guys for joining the Big 12. This is the big boy league for football. We're really excited about it. We're going to see what happens come, that Friday game against Arizona. Even though it's not a Big 12 game, it's 2 Big 12 teams. We're really going to get to see what this old Pac-12 football versus Big 12 football is about. They're coming off a big Alamo Bowl win against Oklahoma, where they came storming back. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty good season. So shout out to the new Big 12 members.
Yeah, dude. It just makes the conference so exciting. And be honestly, the conference was always exciting without them, but this is just it's one of those things where you kind of really want to flex your muscles a little bit, and just show like, hey, we're not just I know you guys had your little thing over there on the West, but we're not to be messed around with here in the Midwest. So really excited to see those teams. And yeah, that first game against Arizona, not considered technically a conference game, according to whatever. Like, I guess it was already scheduled beforehand. But even though it's not counted as a conference game, we all know this is a conference game, and it's going to be a big one too. So, and the fact that it's on our home turf, man, let's go out and make it. Let's make a statement right from the get-go.
Absolutely. I love it, Kenny, man. You always bring the heat and the excitement for some K-State freaking football. So
that's right, man.
we have our first game next week. We're going to do another pod, hopefully Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there, hopefully, as we preview the first game. But we need to talk about the season as a whole. We're going to talk about offensive positions, defensive positions, schedule overall, our hot takes, and all of that. So let's get
into it, man. Let's do it.
So we're 9 minutes in. We're talking about some offense here. We're going to talk about the quarterback position first, obviously.
This has to be the look, man. We've been excited about this since last year. People were like, you see the comments, all the different Facebook groups and everybody like, put Avery in. Like, everybody has been so excited about this guy. And then what he did. Now, of course, what we showed at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, maybe that could be just like, hey, they think that we're going to run him the whole time because of what he did against Texas Tech, which was an absolute clinic, what he did with Texas Tech. But, maybe we want to throw him off, maybe, with the game plan and make him throw the ball more. Who knows? Like, whatever it was, whatever the case was, Avery Johnson is our guy, and there ain't no question about it. Will Howard did an amazing job in his whole K-State career. I respect that guy. He got us a Big 12 championship. You and I talked about that the other day. We're like, man, best of luck to him. But Avery Johnson is really the one that like has brought so much hype back to K-State. I mean, everybody's just really excited because, well, I mean, he's from Kansas. Like, you know, he's a Kansas boy, and the dude is he's just special, man. I don't know. He's got that superstar energy, you know. Like when you watch him play, and he seems like a great dude. Also, over the off season, seen a lot of stuff that he's been doing around the community. Really cool guy. So from what I've heard, everybody just loves this guy, and I do too.
Shout out to Avery Johnson. You just got a 2-minute hype from Kenny G just about how amazing he is. He just launched his whole like merch line as well. So he's got the little A and the J and the little signature 2 on there. I think I need to get me one of those shirts because I got the Skylar Thompson shirt. It's now time to upgrade me to an Avery Johnson shirt.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
So really quickly, obviously he's going to be starting at quarterback. He is a captain. 6'2", 192 pounds, sophomore. Last year, he threw for 479 yards, 56% completion percentage, 5 TD passes, 0 interceptions, 52 rushes for 296 yards, and 7 rushing TDs. Way, way, way more than Josh Freeman did as a freshman at K-State, and he started like basically more than half of the season. So for Avery Johnson to do what he did last year in limited time is pretty impressive. His backup is most likely going to be Tyquan Roberson, the senior transfer from UConn, 6'2", He threw for 2,000 yards last year, 12 TDs, and had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. I feel pretty good about the quarterback room because even after that, you got Jacob Knuth, Blake Barnett. I mean, it feels like K-State really reloaded at the quarterback position. And I'm excited to see what Avery Johnson does with a whole season starting. Last year, Will Howard had just like 5 yards less than 3,000 total yards from rushing and passing. And I honestly feel like Avery Johnson's going to hit 3,500, maybe even 4,000 total yards. And I feel like he's going to have 30 to 35 total touchdowns. I know that's a lot. That is a lot when you consider our running backs as well. But I don't know, man. It feels like this is the most dynamic and probably the best quarterback K-State has had. I mean, Colin Klein was really good in a different way, but in terms of raw talent and what he can do, I mean, it's got to be Bishop, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, man. I've already done the hype on him. And I'm not going to do a replay of that, but I mean, it's just it's exciting, and that's a little ambitious with 35 touchdowns. It is a lot, but I want to say he's going to just be such. I'm hoping with the amount of raw talent that he has, with him being like the guy this entire offseason, he's had time to bulk up. He's had time to work with the team. He's had time to really get inside, get with that playbook. I'm hoping that he could be just as good as a manager on the field as he is with his like raw talent on the field. So that's my hope is, and we'll never know until we get into the season and start watching these games and really see like how he can manage the team. This is his true sophomore year, and so we just gotta wait and see. But the hype is there. I think
the hype is real. I mean,
the hype is there. It's real. And I'm really excited to see it. I'm just I can't wait for these dang games to get going.
I mean, what K-State did in that bowl game was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we are really going to get to see up close and personal next Saturday. Are you going to be at the game? Because I definitely am next Saturday, the home opener.
I'm gonna. Well, in terms of like getting tickets, I don't think I'll be able to get the tickets from my work because he said they're already gone.
Okay. Well, if I find some, I will definitely give them to you because I don't have any extra. But if I do find some, I'll give them to you.
Sure. Yeah, man. That'd be great.
Sweet. Okay, so let's move on from the man, the myth, the legend, freaking Avery Johnson. I need to get his jersey, dude. Like that's
Yeah.
next on my like go to.
You and me both. You and me both. I hope they like sell wigs. You know what I mean? The Avery Johnson wigs.
Oh, dude, kind of like they did with the beards of Jacob Pullen in basketball. That'd
Yeah,
be sick. That'd be
that'd
sick.
be cool. I don't really need it because my hair is already kind of like his.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just
But-
a little darker and a little grayer, you know.
Wow.
I got gray hair too, man. I mean, I'm older than you, so. All right, here we go. Let's talk about running backs. Now, the running backs.
Oh man, if when you have Avery Johnson being like the thing we have to talk about, then you get to the running backs, and there's someone in particular that is really really exciting.
Is there? Because I feel like there's two.
No. I mean, like, well, of course, there's two that we have to talk about, but there's one that we weren't expecting
No, but there was.
to be talked about.
I mean, okay, so let's get right into it. We're talking Dylan Edwards, a sophomore
Yeah,
from
dude.
Colorado. I mean, he was. I mean, I watched him in high school play against Manhattan. Like that guy is legit, and his speed is unreal. You know, and shout out to him for making the right decision for him when the time came. He decided to hook back up with Avery Johnson, come to K-State. Who knows what would have happened last year? I don't feel like they would have went and got Trayshawn Ward had Dylan Edwards actually signed with K-State. So it'd be interesting to see, that dynamic duo of Giddens and Edwards 2 years in a row. But last year, he ran for 321 yards, only one rushing TD. He did catch 36 passes for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He is a small guy, 5'9", 167 pounds. But I mean, this guy's change of direction and speed. I mean, it is Sproles like. Now he doesn't have the build that Sproles had. I mean, Sproles was jacked out of his mind. Like he was a legit 180, 190 pounds at 5'6" or 5'8", whatever he was. Dylan Edwards is not that big yet, but he maybe at some point he will be. And then you pair him with DJ Giddens, 6'1", 212 pounds. You really got thunder and lightning, man. Giddens last year, 223 rushing yards, 223 rushes for 1,226 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, 29 catches, 323 yards, and another 3 TDs. I mean, this guy had 1,500 total yards, 13 touchdowns. K-State played in 13 games, so you know he's going to score at least one touchdown every single game. I mean, that thunder and lightning combo is going to be insane this year, man. Dude, it just is.
What more do you have to say, man? I mean, like, Giddens is our workhorse. I've been saying it since last year. This guy is everything you need in terms of like a reliable, just go get him running back. You need 3 yards, DJ will get you 3 yards. You need 4 yards, DJ will work to get those 4 yards. I mean, he is an absolute animal on the field. He's not that flashy runner, he's just run up the gut and fall forward every single time kind of runner. But he's also just a super humble guy, man of not many words, but he's really fun to watch as well. Jace, Junction City boy, so also another Kansas kid, Dylan Edwards, Kansas kid. I mean, our backfield, whoo, man, it's
quarterback and both running backs from Kansas. That's pretty impressive.
It's exciting, dude. It's so cool. And the fact that the going back to Dylan Edwards, the whole reuniting him with Avery Johnson. I mean, that's chemistry already there that we don't have to, is Avery going to be, able to, I mean, we've already got chemistry with there. Jace Brown, we'll get to him in a second, but chemistry there. Was his roommate. He's coming back, and Jace Brown had an incredible breakout season last year. It's so cool. That's why we're super excited, because even though this is Avery's first official starting year, he's already got the rapport underneath him, so to speak, of the other members on the field. And Steve, you're muted, but I'm going to keep talking here. So but the main thing that that I wanted to point out about Dylan Edwards is that he was supposed to be committed to K-State before, and then he changed his mind. He went to this place, and he went back over to Colorado, and then he eventually stayed with Colorado. And then for whatever reason, I'm not really sure, but because Colorado's in the Big 12 now, and he could have stayed there, and maybe something would have happened. But I want to say that maybe he was a little homesick. But man,
I don't think we'll ever know for sure. I mean,
we'll never know for sure.
He
but
talked about it. I mean, he just felt like his heart needed to be in Kansas. And I do think they kept recruiting some other running backs, which K-State's got a bunch of running backs on their roster as well. But I felt like he felt like he could have a more of a featured role here. And I think he really wanted to play with Avery after watching that bowl game. I mean, Dylan Edwards was sitting at home.
Yeah.
During bowl season, you know what I mean? They didn't go to a bowl game last year.
Exactly. So yeah, we got the 2 running backs. Super excited for them. DJ, I'm sort of going to be. We'll get to the hot takes, but he's going to be part of my hot takes in the future segment when we talk about it. But let's move on to, I guess, receivers.
Yeah. I feel like receivers is like the one question mark on offense. I mean, when you lose Malik Knowles a year ago, and then this past year, losing Phillip Brooks, and then you lose RJ Garcia. I mean, it's
what a letdown his season was. I did not expect him to not be relevant.
I know, man.
But it is what it is. But I want to say we don't know exactly how Dylan Edwards is going to be used. You and I kind of predicted, a few months back that maybe he might be used sort of in a slot position potentially.
I feel like a scat back. I mean, he's going to get rushes just like Treshaun Ward did. I mean, when looking at last year, Treshaun Ward, I mean, he ran the ball 124 times. He caught 17 passes. I mean, Dylan Edwards is going to be used a lot more than that, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, whether it's as a decoy or not, I feel like he's going to be out in the field every single play. He could be the third receiver. He could be the second running back. I mean, he's going to be used a lot.
Because you mentioned his size, he's not like a Deuce Vaughn, he's not like a Sproles, but he is fast. He is fast, and very talented, and he's got really fancy feet. And he is a bit of a superstar himself too. So, but confidence, it's kind of like maybe like a little Tyreek Hill or something like that, like a younger Tyreek Hill, obviously. But I'm
just find a way to get him the ball, right? Find a way to get him the ball. Screens, jet sweeps, actual sweeps, passes. I mean, yeah.
I want him to cause the opposing team's defense to have to put their best guy's eyes on him, so that way we can have Jace Brown over on the other side,
or DJ up the middle, or Avery Johnson out.
That's right.
So many options.
We have fast guys now, and not just fast, but very skilled, and talented. I'm hoping that like K-State implements like a lot of misdirection. We have the talent to do it. So I'm excited to see. I'm just excited to see what we can do. And with Matt Wells being the coordinator, we'll have to see. We'll have to see Absolutely. What he has up his sleeve, and because I know that
he's gonna want to throw the ball, man. He is.
Yeah, definitely.
And Connor Riley is gonna want to run the ball, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. So really quickly, I'm going to go over the 6 receivers that the coaches have talked about. I'm not saying this is the depth chart because we're going to get that on Monday or Tuesday. But based off of what the coaches have said, it feels like these are the top 6 guys. Jace Brown is the leading returning receiver from last year, sophomore, 6 foot, 180 pounds. He caught 27 passes a year ago for 437 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's got to be your number 1 guy, in my opinion. Keegan Johnson would be your wide receiver 2. Junior, 6 foot, 206, caught 24 balls a year ago for 2 touchdowns. In an injury-ridden season, it feels like he probably would have led the team. He'd be the leading returning receiver had he not gotten hurt last year. It feels like they might slide Dylan Edwards into that third receiver slot, and if not, it feels like they're going to put Jaden Jackson there. The senior came back for his 5th year, the COVID year. Senior, 6'1", 187 pounds, caught 19 passes a year ago for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns. After that, we got the transfer from Penn State, Dante Cephas, 6 foot, 193 pounds, 22 catches last year for 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, former Biletnikoff Award watch list. And then after that, you got Trey Spivey. He's 6'4", sophomore. Sterling Lockett, redshirt sophomore. Lockett name. I mean, I don't know after that who they go with, but it feels like those would be the top 6. And it feels like really it'd be the top 4, and then Dylan Edwards, and then if they have to rotate, they'd put in Trey Spivey and Sterling Lockett. I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but that feels like that's what we might be getting at the receiver position this season.
Yeah, I mean, of course you've got a legacy name there, Lockett. We've seen what that family has produced in the past. Hey, maybe something might happen. Maybe this could be a breakout year for Sterling. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I sort of agree here with get along. Too many good targets to have 1,000-yard receiver. I mean,
yeah, shoot, man. Considering
maybe I'm not 100% sure. It just depends on what the game plan is, and I'm hoping that, like, my hope is, again, what I said with Avery, that he could be a really good offensive manager, because we know that he's talented, and we know that he can throw the ball. We know that he can obviously run the ball. And we have to see how our offense can, like, what our strength is on our offense. Like, are we able, because we did lose pretty significant line. And we might talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we will. That's next after tight ends.
Yes.
But to answer this question, I put it in the chat. If anyone does get it, it'd probably be Jace Brown.
Yeah.
It'd have to be, right? I mean, he's a wide receiver 1. I mean, after that, I would probably actually go Dylan Edwards, but I'm going to, like, change the question a little bit. Dylan Edwards is going to get 1,000 total yards between rushing and receiving. So I don't know how many catches.
What about Giddens though? Giddens
is going to be over 1,000 rushing yards. I feel like.
Yeah, really, of course, with rushing. Yeah.
I feel like Dylan Edwards is probably going to get 500 and 500.
I see what you're saying.
So I kind of twisted the question, but if anyone was actually to get 1,000 yards, it would be Jace Brown, in my opinion. But
okay.
I mean, it feels like it's been forever since K-State's had 1,000-yard receiver. Feels like probably it would have to be Tyler Lockett, right? It would have to be the last one.
Lockett, maybe Jordy.
Well, and then Jordy, definitely Lockett though, because Lockett broke almost every one of Jordy's records.
Yeah.
Jordy broke every record. So
yeah.
Shout out to Riley, Kansas.
Yeah, Riley County, my old stomping grounds. Hey, shout out to you, Jordy. Hope you're doing all right.
As we move on to the tight ends, really quickly, I want to say biggest question mark is still receivers, but it feels like we got a decent.
It's not a big question mark.
Not any burners, like speed to burn outside of Dylan Edwards and maybe Dante Cephas, but I don't know, man. We got a lot of possession receivers, and we know that Avery can put the ball in any spot. So I feel pretty good about the receiver position. But as we get up against some of these teams with a lot of speed, we will see what happens if these guys can get open, because it feels like the last couple of years, a lot of fans have been upset with the receivers not getting open. And I feel like part of that is, the quick twitch muscles, not being super fast. So it feels like the receiver position is still the biggest question mark on offense, in my opinion. So
we shall see. We shall see.
Moving on to tight end. Garrett Oakley is going to be the starting tight end, but they like to play a lot of them. Garrett Oakley, sophomore, 6'5", 240 pounds, 11 catches a year ago for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Backup tight end will most likely be senior Will Swanson, 251 pounds at 6'5". He caught 5 balls a year ago for 66 yards and the 1 touchdown as he barely put his hands underneath of it against, I think it was TCU or UCF, one of those two. Feels like it was TCU though. So I feel pretty good about the tight end position. I'm excited to see, a year from now what we do with Lincoln Cure at tight end with Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards. That is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. Lockett and Sexton, same year, were the last 1,000-yard receivers. Waters at QB. Well, yeah, and Waters, I mean, he threw the ball all over the yard. I mean, they definitely adapted the offense to him, at least in year 2 when he was a senior. So,
right. I forgot about him.
You want to add anything on the tight ends, or I feel pretty good there? I mean, no
Yeah.
one's Ben Sinnott. I mean, that guy's an animal. We're seeing that in the NFL preseason at this point, but I
Yeah.
still feel pretty good about the tight end position.
Yeah, we were blessed with Ben Sinnott. I mean, he was arguably he was like the guy on offense that he was literally quite literally the number one target for Will Howard to throw to. And he was such a solid go-to guy, just expect him to be open, expect him to make a play, expect him to just be like the one who actually catches the ball. I
Right.
mean, he was so solid and consistent, and he will be greatly missed. I love what he's doing already in the NFL. So yeah, shout out to him, man. But yeah, also excited about what we've got coming up. I mean, like I think you said Oakley number one.
Yep.
I agree with that. I for sure agree with that. I think he's done. I'm pretty sure he was the guy that was had to sit out. Wasn't he the guy that had to sit out due to an injury last year? Or was that a
I
different
think
person?
he did have to set out a little bit. I think last year. I'd have to look it up, but
Hopefully he's healthy.
he
and
was
ready to
he
go.
was a number one tight end after Ben Sinnott last year, and I mean,
Okay.
he's Ben Sinnott everywhere last year. So
Yeah. Yep.
okay, let's move on to offensive line. And I feel like if you're not a K-State fan or know anything about K-State football, you'd be like, that's their biggest question mark. They lost so many starters on the offensive line. Nah, bro. Almost every single offensive lineman that's starting for K-State this year, which we're going to go over here in a minute, has played a ton of snaps at K-State. The newest person on the offensive line is the top tackle transfer from North Dakota. He is a senior named Easton Kilty, 6'6", 307 pounds. Right now, he would be starting at left tackle. Left guard would be Hadley Panzer, 6'4" senior, 305 pounds. He started the last two seasons at guard. They mostly used him at right guard as Cooper Beebe was at left guard. They are breaking in a new center. I feel like that would probably be the only question mark on the O-line. Sam Hecht, a junior, 6'4", 287 pounds. But at right guard and right tackle are two guys that have played a lot last year along with Hadley Panzer. It's Taylor Potier, 6'3", 305 pounds senior. He started on and off the last three seasons. He kept getting injured, but he's played a ton of snaps for K-State. And then right tackle Carver Willis is a senior, 6'5", 291 pounds. He started almost every game last year at right tackle. He got better throughout the year. It felt like he really struggled against the non-con, but really after that, he played his best football this season in the Big 12, man. He really did. And if you're looking at backups, John Pastore would probably be the backup tackles, sophomore, 6'6", 303. The backup guard has played a lot of football. They use him a lot during the 2022 Big 12 championship. Andrew Leingang, junior, 6'6", 306. And then the backup center would most likely be either Andrew Leingang or Michael Capria, sophomore, 6'2", 295. I still feel really, really, really good about the offensive line, despite the fact that a lot of our guys graduated last year. It feels like we still brought a ton of returning experience back in the O-line, man. And I still feel like we're going to do just fine. I really do feel like that way.
Yeah, I don't think K-State's ever really lacked super hard in this field. I think their recruiting has always been really good. And speaking of recruiting, I mean, we also got a young man by the name of Ryan Howard, who got recruited. That's cool to see. You know, like I don't think he's going to get many snaps, but who knows? Maybe like if we're stomping the hell out of,
UT Martin,
yeah,
Saturday.
Exactly, or any team for that matter. Maybe they'll throw in Ryan and get him a few snaps. And yeah, I'm hoping that this isn't going to be a huge issue. We were really blessed with the offensive line last year. Make no mistake, I don't want to downgrade or I don't want to downplay like how good we had it, but I don't think K-State's ever had a huge issue with finding guys that can hold the line. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
We'll be
offense,
just fine.
I think we're going to be just fine. The beef is going to be nice and beefy. I couldn't think of anything.
I would be remiss if I didn't say I feel awful for Cooper Beebe's brother, Camden Beebe, who officially announced earlier this week that he is medically retiring from football due to an injury. He is still going to be with the team every day as he works with the team, and more of like a coaching role, even though he's a student. So I do feel bad for him, but like I said, I feel very good about the O line this year. But I mean, we'll find out real quickly in the first 3 games how good the O line is or isn't. So, but Avery's so slippery, so is Dylan, so is DJ. I feel like we'll be just fine regardless, really. Let's turn our attention to the defense. What do you say about that, bro? So look, we're going to look at the D line first, then the linebackers, and then the secondary. So K-State's most likely going to start Brendan Mott and Cody Stufflebean at the DN spots. Both of them are on 6'5", 245 to 250 pounds. Backups would be Chidi Obiazer and Jordan Allen or Toby Osunsami or others. The DN position feels pretty good, but check this out. Nose tackle. I saw this guy earlier this week. I went to Target here in Manhattan. I go to use a bathroom, and there's this monster of a guy. Like, this guy is massive. And I'm a big dude. I'm
Steve, you're a big guy. So
I'm a really big guy. I'm 6'2", 260. And I go to use a bathroom, and there's this guy that's just a monster. And I don't feel small around a lot of people. I felt smaller on this guy, Uso Salamalo, 6'3", 333-pound, nose guard, nose tackle. This dude was massive. I didn't say anything to him. I was too scared. I mean, that guy's huge. That guy would stomp me.
and he's in a really vulnerable position.
Yeah, you're right. No, like he was walking out as I was walking.
Oh,
that's what I mean when I say I saw him in the bathroom. Anyways, this guy's massive. His sack dance is incredible, man. It really. I wanted to ask him if he's got a new one or if he's just going to go with that one. Anyways, and then the backup would most likely be Damian Alalio. Feels like the D line is probably the strength of the defense. I really feel that way. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like we have a ton of like pass rushers or anything. But I don't know. What do you feel about the D line?
You're talking about Uso, man. That is the man, the myth, the legend. It's so cool that he's coming back to play one more year. I mean,
COVID year, man. COVID year.
The COVID year. And dude, he was a force to be reckoned with. Last year, I hope his health maintains to be stable throughout the season. I know that last year he got injured towards the end. I'm hoping that he can maintain a healthy season all the way through for his last and final year with K-State. Really excited about him for sure.
As we move on to the linebackers, I mean, this would probably be the second best thing on defense. I mean, you return 2 starters that are all Big 12 caliber. Austin Moore, which you saw him this past summer. So shout out to you.
I did, yeah. I shout out to him. I don't think he's gonna remember. Hey, Austin, if you see this, it was kind of like one of them things. He was just in the park and they were doing like there was like an event going on. I kind of walked by him and I said, "Go Cats!" And he's all right. I said, like, "Go Cats, Austin the Machine." And then he was like, "Yo, yeah." And I was like, "Come!" I was like, "Watch the Purple Pie." He's like, "For sure, man." And like,
I love it. I freaking love it. I love it. Okay, and then at the other linebacker spot, Des Purnell, which I feel like is the best linebacker of those 3. Like, I love Austin Moore, I really do, and I love all the linebackers, but it feels like Des Purnell. I mean, he's that dude, man. He's so fast, so athletic. Doesn't feel like he misses tackles a lot, man.
The boy from Topeka, man.
Dude from freaking Topeka Hayden. I mean, they moved him from safety to linebacker. Last year he had 34 tackles, a half sack. He did have 1 interception as well.
He was incredible.
Austin Moore was 3rd on the team in tackles with 40 and had a sack and a half.
This is going to be a huge year for those 2. I just feel it. I just feel it.
It doesn't really matter. I feel like it doesn't really matter who the other guy is. They're going to rotate guys in: Bo Palmer, Austin Romaine, Alec Marenko, Terry Kirksey, and then Asa Newsom's a backup for Austin Moore, but I feel like they're going to put him in other spots now that Jake Clifton is no longer here.
Yeah,
Which
that's
shout out to Asa Newsom, which he underwent some like knee stuff last year, some leg stuff, injury, and he's already back. He's a redshirt freshman. They were able to get a redshirt for him last year, but I mean, they even got Rex Van Wine. I didn't talk about Boone Morris, Cam Salas. It's a pretty deep linebacker core, but I mean, it's headlined, of course, by Des Purnell and Austin Moore. I mean, those guys, they're monsters.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they can do. I mean, Austin the Machine, walk on, and he's just been an absolute stud for K-State. And then Des Purnell had such a huge season last year. I think that was kind of like his breakout year, if I'm being honest. I mean, he just really showed up and showed out for sure. And I know that you were excited about Asa Newsom last year, and so for him, and then it was kind of a disappointment he got hurt, but having him be a solid backup to Austin Moore. Yeah, Jake Clifton, that's a huge downer that he's not going to be around, but he's doing some other things in his life. And so shout out to him for being such a solid football player with K-State. But yeah, man, I'm excited about the linebacker position, but if I'm being honest, it's the secondary for me.
Let's get to it, man. I mean, your boy Jacob Parrish led the team last year.
That's right,
interceptions with 4. And he's only going to be a junior, man. And then
I know
Keenan Garber is the other corner. He uses COVID year to come back to be a starter after Will Lee left, which he still can't tackle that running back from Iowa State. Anyways, the other starters appears to be obviously VJ Payne and Marquis Siegel. Marquis Siegel led the team last year in passes defended with 9. Should have had probably 3 or 4 of those could have been interceptions. They ended up with pass defended instead. And then we have a transfer, Jordan Riley, which most likely will take the place of Kobe Savage. I mean, the starters on paper feel really good. I just worry about the depth at the secondary position, man. I mean, you got
like Justin James,
Justice James, Zayshawn Rich, Daryl Jones, Kenigel Thomas, Kobe McAllister, Nikendre Steiger, Jack Fabris. I mean, there's a lot of other names we've heard. We just haven't seen them on the field. But the starters, I feel pretty good about.
Yeah, I think Jacob Parrish is an absolute animal. I mean, he's quite literally from what he showed last season, also another sophomore with a breakout season. He was so consistent. He missed 1 game. Unfortunately, that was the OSU game, which who knows what would have happened if he was there.
That still feels like it was more of a Will Howard problem that game, but
sure.
I'll let you finish.
But yeah, so I believe Jacob Parrish. No, don't throw to him. If you're another team, if you're an opposing team, don't try to throw to Jacob. I'm warning you now. You're gonna find out.
Got sticky hands, man.
He's got really good hands, and no Diddy, and and yeah, but Keenan Garber, excited to see him come back. He's Lawrence guy, right?
He's fast.
Lawrence guy, right?
He's from Lawrence. He is, and they
right.
moved him from receiver to.
I'm remembering
about a month before the Big 12 championship game.
But yes, the Seagull meme. This guy can't catch to save his.
He said he led the team in tackles though a year ago, but you're right. He did have 1 interception against KU which basically sealed the deal last year.
Yes,
but he dropped 5.
That's right. But other than that, everything you said, I agree with. Yeah, this more the secondary is more what I'm excited for. Kobe Savage not coming back, that hurts a lot. We had a really awesome episode with his dad. But shout out to that family. That family is awesome. They
support paid big too, and
they support Kobe. Kobe gave us some amazing years of K-State. He was such a leader. I respect him. I respect what he did. I'm happy for him. And best of luck to him and his family. They deserve it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Special teams really quickly before we get into our prediction on K-State's record.
Okay.
Chris Sennett's back at kicker. Hopefully he continues what he did in the back half of the season, which it felt like he didn't really miss that much after the Texas game. I don't know if he missed a field goal.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but then kick returner, we're going to have Dylan Edwards. We're going to have Dante Cephas, a bunch of dudes. I feel pretty good about K-State's return game.
Yep. So. I 100%.
Okay, let's get into this really quickly. I'm going to pull up K-State's football schedule for this year. We're going to go game by game, and we're going to predict the wins or losses. Okay, let's pull up the K-State football schedule.
Okay.
K-State opens the season. Oh, I have the wrong one pulled up here. Hold on. I clicked on schedule, but it did not change from the roster to the schedule. Here we go. Let's pull up K-State's football schedule.
Okay.
All righty. K-State opens the season next Saturday, August 31st, at home, 6 o'clock against UT Martin. I think both of us are picking K-State to win that game. Pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely.
1-0. K-State then goes to Tulane the following weekend at 11 a.m. Wow. I don't like already like how quickly K-State goes on the road against a team that I mean they got some studs, man. I know they have a new coach.
Yeah, that's listen. People that
K-State to win, but it's gonna be a close game, man. 3 to 10 points somewhere in there.
The Tulane discussion. The shining or gleaming hope about this is that they don't have their coach that really turned around this team. So it'll be interesting to see what the structure is going to like. The team is going to be like without that coach. That coach was incredible for that team. He's no longer there. I think he's with Houston now, right?
He is at Houston.
He's with Houston
Fritz.
now.
Willie
yeah.
Fritz.
So now we got to look to Houston. Maybe there's something there going to happen with that team. But in terms of Tulane, and we're at Tulane, it's one of those things where you got to be like cautiously optimistic that we can get in there and get it done. So,
absolutely,
I have the win over them.
Okay, and then K-State comes back home on Friday the 13th. Freaky things are happening against Arizona, who is picked 3rd or 4th in the Big 12 here. 7 o'clock, man. This is a scary game against a scary team that came out of nowhere last year, man. But I feel like the home crowd is going to play a factor in this game. I got K-State winning by 14 in this game. I do. We'll talk about it more as we get into the season. Maybe they're playing better or worse than we thought. I got K-State starting 3-0.
Yes, I do as well, and I think you're absolutely right about the home crowd factor. I think K-State fans are going to show up big for this game, solely due to the fact that this is technically not a Big 12 conference game, but we know this is a conference game, and not just any conference game. This is a conference game introducing a new school from the Pac-12 coming in to K-State. We have to we have to send a message in this game. So I'm thinking the K-State fans are going to come out, show out, and I think the team is going to come out and show out for sure.
I want to say every game is sold out. The only things left are standing room only. So
I'm talking about like we're going to be loud.
It's going to be loud in there. It's going to be loud in there. Both of us have K-State starting 3-0. BYU at BYU the following weekend. I think that's Praise Fest weekend for you, bud. BYU is picked 13th in the Big 12 out of 16 teams. I don't see any reason K-State should drop this game unless they're looking ahead to Oklahoma State or there's some hangover from Arizona. I got K-State winning this game by 10.
This is a sneaky game. This is a sneaky game. This BYU was very, very happy they didn't play K-State last year as their introduction to the Big 12. They were the fans were like, thank God we don't have to play against K-State. But we're going to their home turf, and we cannot be the thing about BYU is that they're so far out there, and so jet lag can be an issue, can be a factor. And they do play late games, so we'll have to see. Like with this game, I have K-State winning. I'm not entirely sure how much we're going to win. This could be a close game just
Yep.
due to the fact that we're in an environment that can get very loud.
It's a big
And
stadium, man. I think it's the biggest one in the Big 12 now.
yeah, with
It's
Dallas
70K,
or with
70,000.
with Austin not being in the Big 12 anymore.
Yeah, with Oklahoma and Texas being gone. Yeah, in the new Big 12, they have the biggest stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we both have K-State starting 4-0. And then we have a team coming in, Oklahoma State, picked third in the Big 12. This is a massive game. I feel like K-State coaches, fans, and players are still pissed off about last year.
Yeah.
I don't see.
We can't win. We've
I think
not been
K-State's
able
going
to
to stomp Oklahoma State. I really do. I understand Oklahoma State is bringing back a whole line. They got Ollie Gordon. I understand all of that. I just think K-State is going to be really mad and upset. I got K-State winning. It's 3 scores. 3 scores.
Yeah.
I was going to say 3 touchdowns, but I'm going to say 3 scores.
This is going to have to be the biggest statement game of the season. I think our biggest issue with Oklahoma State is that we just can't win in Stillwater.
Yeah.
We've been able to beat them before at home, no problem. But for whatever reason, Stillwater is like a curse with Chris Klieman. But
it is.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and say Oklahoma State will win. It's going to be a good game. I'm hoping that Ollie Gordon doesn't get too much done on our team. I know he's going to get something done, but we can't allow any big plays. K-State's got the win over OSU.
5-0. 5-0. This next game it's a tricky game. I'm not buying the hype for Colorado at all. They're picked 11th for a reason. They got some playmakers on the team, but their defense isn't very good. They're not real
The internet is
disciplined.
out. Oh,
they're not very disciplined. Colorado isn't. They're picked 11th, like I said. I got K-State winning this game. I don't know what the score is. It might be a close game because they have a high-powered offense. It could be a blowout, but either way, I got K-State winning this game. I don't see any way K-State walks out of Colorado without winning. Boulder.
Yep,
Boulder,
this is a K-State dub for sure. And then, I agree with you, man. Everything you said there.
Next up is probably the biggest or second biggest road game of the season at West Virginia. West Virginia is picked 7th in the Big 12, but it feels like a lot of people are picking them to beat K-State in this game. I don't know if I'm ready to pick against K-State at this point. I don't know what the injuries would look like. West Virginia is going to have a pumped up crowd. If they beat Penn State, I might be buying the sauce and maybe they could beat K-State that weekend. But I'm still at this point, August 23rd, I'm picking K-State to win that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what the score is, but I got K-State winning.
Yep, I agree. I literally everything you just said, I 100% agree with. And that weekend will be the last weekend that you and I will have for volleyball.
You're right. You're right. And this would be K-State's first 7-0 start since 2012. We know what happened that season. Heisman Trophy candidate, Big 12 championship. We'll see if that happens, but we are picking K-State to be 7-0. This back half of the season, the last 5 games, feels like the first 7, was difficult. But I got K-State beating KU at home. Tickets are going for $200+. But after that, I got K-State winning at Houston, at home against Arizona State, Cincinnati. Then at Iowa State would be the only game that I would feel like K-State might lose. So looking at the rest of the schedule, I'm going to look past KU. I know that's weird. I still think KU is going to win 9 games. I got K-State going. Man, it would really suck if we lost at Iowa State after being 11-0. But I'm going to pick K-State to be 11-1.
I really don't want this to be
Iowa State.
I do not want this to be a situation where we are undefeated going into like Baylor and then losing to Baylor. Like, I don't want this to be a repeat of what that year was like. So, but I agree with what you said. I think the back half is just going to be, and I don't want this to be a situation where we overlook every team because the first half is so stacked that we just like forget that we have games to play still. So I'm going to just go ahead and agree with what you said. Wins across the board. I'm calling for an undefeated season.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That
undefeated regular season. If Utah was in this schedule and it was at Utah, I would almost say K-State doesn't win that game. But
so we both have K-State going to the Big 12 championship game because 11-1 or 12-0 is good enough to get there.
Yeah.
Now, does K-State win that game against whoever it is, Utah or someone else? I say yes, and hope
I say yes
in making the college football playoff. So 12-0 and 11-1 is our official predictions for K-State football in 2024. That's insane. I can't believe I picked K-State to have a better or to have a worse record than you because usually I'm the homer. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with what get along said.
Yeah, I agree.
Ames, yeah, and but here's my rebuttal to that. We sort of threw away the snow game last year at home. We are not going to let we're not going to let them have the last say over that because we basically weren't even playing that game, and they're gonna pretend that like they're better than us or they've always been better than us. No, we need to come out, make a statement, shut them down, go into the Big 12 championship with an undefeated record. Hopefully everybody's healthy. Hopefully everybody's psyched to play in that game. And yeah, I'm calling for undefeated season this year.
I love it. Really quickly, we're going to do our hot takes and then we're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
So hot take for me, I'm going to do 2 offense, 2 defense, and then I'm going to throw it to you. Okay. Hot take, Avery Johnson, 3,500 total yards, 35 total touchdowns. And then I said it earlier, Dylan Edwards, 500 receiving, 500 rushing. He's going to have 10 total touchdowns to match his 1,000 yards. On defense, I think someone that is not a starter is going to lead the team in sacks, whether that's Toby Osunsanmi, Jordan Allen, or Chidi Obiazer. By the way, Chidi is 6'6", 282. That's an insane size. One of those guys, or maybe even a backup linebacker, is going to lead the team in sacks. And then I'm going to go. This guy's got to be on the jug machine over the offseason. Marquise Siegel's going to lead the team in interceptions. That is a huge hot take, dude. What do you got?
I've got a really crazy hot take. I'm going to say that Avery Johnson's going to be a Heisman candidate. And I'm going to say that I don't have 2. I'm just going to say the one. I think the running backs, we kind of went over it. But we're talking hot takes here. This is hot. So Avery Johnson being a Heisman candidate in his true starting year. And I'm going to say for defense, my boy Jacob Parrish he's going to be the one with all the interceptions. I'm going to say
lead the team 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Yep.
Love it. That's the first episode of the Purple Pod on KSU Nation. Does K-State wear the purple jerseys in a Big 12 championship game for the first time ever? Hope so. But I mean, we've worn white every time, and we've won a couple times. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I hope so. I'm going to be there because I was there.
I want them to wear the lavender jersey.
We don't have a lavender jersey, but that'd be pretty sweet if we did.
Yeah.
So, I had fun. This is episode 1. We're going to come back next week and preview K-State versus UT.
Season 2, episode 1
is off with a bang. We are back, baby. This is awesome. I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, man.
But I'm Steve.
I'm Kenny.
Thanks everyone for watching. And go Cats, baby.
Go Cats. Woo, 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 woo.